say? I didn't stutter. I said, pop your titty out his mouth and stop babying him.
Oh, Daniel Jones could wreck a wet dream. This is Tim's New York Giants Straight Talk. Pirate Online, Big Blue LLC. Just literally got back from the stadium. Just got back from the most recent debacle. You know what? The game actually just ruined a perfectly good outing. James and I got there. We were in a suite. We had the mimosas. We had everything going on. We should have just left after the game. I mean, after the game, before the game even started. Literally, we should have just left. Sitting there in the Players Club, having a good time. And the Giants just wrecked it by getting on the field and actually playing. And it starts from Joe Schoen. It starts from Brian Daboll. It goes to the quarterback itself. When you lose 28-6 to a Sam Darnold-led team who went 19 for 24 for 208, 2 touchdowns and an interception, you know you got problems. You had Aaron Jones rush for 14 times for 94 yards, 6.7 yards carries and the touchdown. He had the big 19-yard run. They ran the ball 26 times for 111, 4.3 in the touchdown. It was just one of those games. It was one of those things I worried about. I was concerned, and I said this before on the stream. I could see the Giants winning this game 21-17. And then in the same breath, I said I could also see them losing this game 35-10. I didn't think there was going to be any middle ground. I didn't think there was going to be anything in between. I guess Ivan Pace Jr. backed up his trash talk. But I didn't think there was going to be anything in between. And honestly, there was nothing in between on this game. They looked out of sync on offense. They looked confused. They looked confused and befuddled at times on defense. The secondary, this is what you normally get from a Shane Bowen secondary. Someone who has watched the Titans over the last 4 years. I've said this before. Shane Bowen's secondaries, outside of the 2 years he had with Jim Schwartz, are always terrible. I just don't think he understands how to catch. I mean, how to do it. And I kept saying over and over again last week, my biggest concern is either Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison is going to get behind this defense. And they did. If they literally had a real quarterback, if Kirk Cousins was on this team, it may have been 56-6. And one of my biggest concerns I've had was that you were going to see the likes of Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns disappear. And they were going to have a game where they had basically no impact. Brian Burns, between Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, we had 4 tackles and 1 quarterback hit. All 4 tackles went to Brian Burns. The quarterback hit went to Kayvon Thibodeau. I thought we were going to win this game. I thought we were going to lose next week, and then I was thinking we're going to probably drop like 7 in a row. My mindset hasn't changed. I think we're going to lose. I think we're going to lose next week against Washington, and I still think we're going to drop 7 in a row. Is there a chance for this team to go 0-9? Yeah. The way they looked, it was just embarrassing. It was atrocious. It was, the offense looked so out of sync, and at times they looked like they were just trying to force the ball in to Neighbors. 7 targets, 5 receptions, 66 yards, 13.2. Longest reception was a nice 25-yard one, which actually he got behind the safety. But beyond that, Wan'Dale Robinson, 6 catches, 44. Slayton, 3 for 26. Theo Johnson, 1 for 18. Devin Singletary, 10 carries for 37. This is not the 46 zone. This is not the 85 Bears that we just went up against. I've said it before. The weakness on this defense was going to be the defensive tackles attacking the line and potentially some of the age in the secondary. Well, Devin Singletary just looked like an average back. I was listening to the Texans broadcast on the way home. they got Joe Mixon for a 7th round pick. They were extolling the virtues of Joe Mixon for the entire time I listened to that. How he is making a difference already for the Texans, how he is the missing link, how they haven't had a running game like this in years. Didn't they just have Motor Singletary? I forget. Eric Gray. Can we stop with the Eric Gray experiment? Two carries for 6 yards. He looks so slow getting into the hole.
That's what she said.
He looked so slow attacking that line. And again, I cannot fault or completely fault the offensive line. There was some bad penalties by the offensive line, but I cannot fault the offensive line completely. A lot of the blame for the 5 sacks, once again, goes on to the quarterback. 22 of 42 for 186, 4.4 yards up, pretty average a play. We were fucking rocking and rolling. As a season ticket holder, as a person that's at almost every home game, it's just not worth it anymore. It's really not. You literally, like I said, the joy of today was hanging out and drinking in the parking lot. I actually got to meet some people who follow the channel today, which was freaking awesome because I love that. Have some conversations. Got to hang out with James. We got some free jewelry. We got free drinks and mimosas and corn dogs and all this other fun stuff. Sitting up there in the suite, about on the 35-yard line. Got to see all the giant greats with the 100th anniversary, top 100 players. Then the game kicks off, and it just went downhill from there. It just amazes me that Joe Schoen is just so obtuse in reference to some of the things that this team needs, some of the teams that he thinks they need to do. And everyone's going to be like, oh, Tim, when they win next week, this is all going to look really bad. No, it's not. Because if they somehow, for the grace of God, won next week, it would probably be a fluke, and then they'll still drop 7 in a row. But his talent assessment is just not there. His thought process is just not there. I've called this team a million times before. This is a cut and paste team. We are just cutting and pasting pieces that maybe don't fit a scheme, a philosophy, and hope that by the grace of God, it somehow works out. Some people will say, well, Daniel Jones, he was rusty. That's what it is, rusty. No, he was not rusty. He's just bad. He's just not good. We've said this before. We've said this over and over again. We've said this a million times in the past. He is what he is. It's 6 years in. Do you think now we can kind of just say, hey, listen, can this just be over? Can we just not watch this anymore? Because honestly, I don't even want to see it anymore. I am disgusted with this team after week 1. It was the minimalistic effort that went into this. And I don't want to hear from Joe Schoen and Brian Dale. Well, we got to wait till week 3 or 4 before we know what we got in this team. We got a bunch of fucking hot garbage. That's what we have. And it starts, the stench comes from the quarterback down. I mean, I honestly just don't know anymore where to go with this team, where to go with this direction, how to root for this team. I had more fun watching the Philadelphia Green Bay game than I've had in years watching this. Watching this disaster. I don't know. And I'm sitting here just trying to think to myself, could it get worse? Yes, and that's the sad part. I think it can get worse. I'm just not seeing a true roster in year 3 of a rebuild within a rebuild of NFL talent. And we lost to the freaking Minnesota Vikings. And we had another bad interception from Daniel Jones for a touchdown. That seems to be the modus operandi of this team. I got my favorite clip from James Williams.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
That's what this team is like. That's what it's like watching. And I know this is as a raw, visceral reaction because I just came from the stadium, but that's what it's like. That's what it is. We just have to stop. I still don't understand how you don't put Drew Lock in at one point in the third quarter. I still don't get that. Are you worried about hurting the feelings of a 6-year quarterback who sucks? We'll have a better video tomorrow breaking everything down because, like I said, there's going to be people that are going to tell you things, and I'm going to tell you this right now. You have to be at the game to see how bad this game was. So Carl Bankston say, well, nobody was open. There were people open, Carl. Maybe sitting up, right on the 35-yard line with a clear view of the entire field gives you a little bit better perspective. But we'll have a better breakdown tomorrow. And as always, this is Tim. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. That'd be awesome.